23 years. The red dots are places that I've lived or worked for more than 6 months, and the blue places are places that we've traveled. Growing up in the east, everything's pretty close, so if you know a map, these are actually kind of along major highways, just because family didn't do a lot of flying. It was driving all over the place, which is kind of cool. But I learned LA is kind of far. I tried to drive down there this weekend and got about halfway there in 5 hours. And realized I can't do that in a day.
Traffic?
No, I was just driving on the 101. It was a great day, and I got to.
The battery died?
I had a friend's car for a week. He was traveling.
Friend's car.
Yeah, and I got to just north of Santa Maria, which is just like maybe 60% of the way. After 4 hours of driving, off by that. That's 2 hours more to Santa Barbara. That was a long day. But, so I grew up in Auburn Hills, Michigan. It's about 25 miles north of the Detroit area. It's a great little place. From there, I was homeschooled, so my whole life until I went to college. And it was really cool because it allowed me to practice my entrepreneurial spirit. From the ages of 12, I've always had some business or another that I was running. And most notably, from about 14 till when I moved out here in August, I had a multimedia company that I ended up selling, which was kind of cool, doing pictures and video for events. And one of our specialties was 24-hour same-day productions, because when I was 16, I became the youngest producer at WXYZ Television in Detroit. And so learned about live programming and things like that, and then used that to capitalize. Then, when I was 16 also, I started a restaurant in our church and started that whole business. And it was kind of fun because you go from learning all about the laws behind a restaurant and what it needs to have the kitchen that we already were using, and kind of capitalizing on the space and what it needs to understand customer demands and all the things that go into restaurants, and staffing people and training people. That when I went to school in Midland, Michigan, they actually offered me a scholarship because of what I had done, and almost a full ride to show that what I had as a business operator as 16 to 19 years old. It was kind of cool. I grossed like $100,000 a year. They just kept on improving everything, and we were able to train employees more and more. And we had volunteer programs into where occasionally when I'll go back to Auburn Hills or areas nearby, and little restaurants are looking for staffers, they'll have signs, need staffing help. But if you worked at St. Regis's cafeteria for the last 4 years, which is still operating today, that's like you can just walk right in and get a job whenever you want. So that's kind of cool. That allows these people to have experiences. And then I went to school up in mid-Michigan at Northwood University, where I got both my undergraduate in marketing and my graduate degree in management.
What's the school called?
Northwood University.
Where's it located again?
Midland, Michigan. It's this little red dot up there. So it's kind of in the middle of the state, in the middle of the land, if you will. And headquarters to Dow Corning, Dow Chemical. There's a huge limestone quarry out there, so that's pretty cool. And I think I touch upon it on another slide. And then I was in Las Vegas for a little bit, working for General Motors on their training program. I was based in Las Vegas, worked a lot at the Pahrump racetrack, and would race Corvettes and Camaros. I wouldn't race them, I would just drive them really fast. With
Same thing.
Yeah. Well, racing them is against somebody else. There's nobody else on the course when I would do it, but you'd go in there and you'd show dealers, this is what these vehicles are capable of. Why don't you give it a try? Okay, you're not driving this fast enough. Sit over, move over. So they have that ability when they have that experience when they sell it to their customers. And when the Canyon or Colorado mini truck or entry-level vehicle truck came in, we had a huge test facility out there. When the diesel trucks came out, we were doing all sorts of testing on those, and wouldn't tell people it was a diesel until about the second day in. It was kind of like because they're quiet enough, and as Dave can attest, you don't really think it doesn't sound like a diesel, it doesn't smell like a diesel, it doesn't really act like a diesel, but it has the power of a diesel. And so it would be, this truck is running low on fuel, why don't you run over to that diesel station and fill it up? And that's how they figured out that it was a diesel, which is kind of cool. We did all sorts of testing, driving up 37-degree inclines, all sorts of fun stuff. And then I moved to Hayward in August, and then San Mateo. So this is Auburn Hills, where I grew up. Fun little quaint little downtown area. Our biggest buildings are the Chrysler and Ford Fiat Chrysler Automotive Headquarters are there. The Palace of Auburn Hills, where the Detroit Pistons just finished playing last month. That's actually going to be torn down by the end of the year. But it's just a fun little town.
Is it named after the car?
The Palace?
No, Auburn.
No, it was. So the city of Auburn Hills has had quite a few name changes. It started off in, well, you don't know the history, but it was Pontiac Heights, and then it was Amy, Claire, Auburn Heights, and now it's Auburn Hills. I'm not really sure why they. Well, there's a lot of trees, and probably in the summertime the whole city is Auburn.
How close is it to Detroit?
So Detroit would be right about here. Auburn Hills would be about here, and then Midland was up here. So this is the great state of Michigan. Some fun facts: it has the most shoreline of all the 48 contiguous states. The only state with more shoreline is Alaska, just about all the state is water. We have 7 really main islands. We also have the most state boat registrations out of any state, which I think is kind of cool. Just about every 5 houses in Michigan will have a boat sitting in their driveway, regardless of where you are. You're nowhere or no fewer than maybe 20 minutes from a launch ramp, whether it's for a river or a lake or one of the Great Lakes. One of the third oldest sediments in North America is Sault Ste. Marie, which is right up here. And there's this little area here where there's this river, Sioux Lock. There's about 35 different boat locks because the water of Lake Superior is about 45 feet higher than the water in Lake Huron. And so there's these huge locks so that the shipping boats can go up and down. There's huge, up here in Minnesota, are limestone quarries and things like that, and these huge 1,000, 1,500 foot freighters roll through just full of stone, rock and gravel and coal.
The question is, Lake Michigan the same elevation as Huron?
Close enough to where you don't really notice it.
Okay.
But
Is there a lock there too?
no. So here's Lake Michigan, and then this is Lake Huron, and then this tip here is Mackinac City to St. Ignace, home of the Mackinac City Bridge, Mackinac Bridge, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But University of Michigan was the first state university in North America, so that's pretty cool. And then Mighty Mac is the second largest suspension bridge in the world. And then the fun fact that I learned was that the Detroit Zoo was the first zoo that had cageless exhibits for animals.
Nice.
Which, and growing up, it was that was the only zoo I went to, so I thought they were all like that. And then I went to the Toledo Zoo, and it's not quite the same thing. But it's Ohio, and they do weird stuff anyway. So here's some pictures of the Mighty Mac. So this bridge connects the northern and the lower and the upper peninsulas. So that little blip there is about 5 miles long.
Wow.
This is what it looks like in the wintertime. It's not very fun to cross.
I'll sit it to cross that.
No, we got a truck right here.
Rush hour.
But yeah, I wish I didn't have to say it, but that's what it looks like about every winter. And you just go slow so you don't get blown off. And when you get to the Upper Peninsula, there's probably going to be more snow on the ground. But this is it from aerial shot, and then that's only maybe 2/3 of it. It's cool. It's fun to drive. It's beautiful. It's 5 miles, which you don't want to walk.
Is it a drawbridge or is it tall enough?
No, it's tall enough. It's a suspension bridge. So we don't really have a whole lot of big ships going from the west side to the east side. The biggest things we have is maybe some cruisers that go down to Chicago. But I think it's 350 feet clearance. So I was looking up stats between the Golden Gate Bridge and the Mackinac Bridge, and the only place the Golden Gate beats the Mackinac is that they have wider span in the center. But yeah. But yeah, but it's a pretty cool bridge, and it's only $1.50 for toll. This is the only toll road in Michigan.
Wow.
And then, so I went to Midland for my graduate school. This was my Rotary club that was up there at the country club.
How big is the club?
I'm sorry?
How big is the club?
So we have two clubs. Our morning club has probably 65 members,
Wow.
and the noon club has just under 200.
Wow.
And everyone's pretty regular. And of those, so our big thing was Midland is a well-off community, and of our 58 members, I was only one of 3 that did not have at least 2 Paul Harris Awards. So they're very big into giving back to the community and participating in all of the Rotary functions. This is our campus that I went to college at. There's a rule in Midland that nothing can be taller than the trees. So there are actually 8 buildings hidden through those trees. It was a small school. I was one of about 1,900 students. But it was really cool. It gave us up north feel, and that's one thing, being in the city of San Mateo, you don't have as many trees, but that's okay. But it's really cool because in the fall time, everything gets, the oranges, and it's, everything's almost, quote, on fire. Every year, the university I went to has an outdoor auto show. It's the largest auto show completely run by students. And so they're all students that call and make the relations with the dealers to get the cars in with the suppliers and put on the whole deal, which is pretty cool. We have anywhere from 45 to 85,000 people come in the weekend to look at vehicles. It also rains a lot. So this is a very famous, or Midland would like to think it's famous, 3-way bridge. So it connects this here is the Tittabawassee River with the Chippewassee River, and this here is a small island. It's just a park. 3-way bridge takes you there. This is the farmer's market, and then I don't know if you can tell. It might be a little easier to see in this picture, but this here is about a 35-foot ridge, and about every 3 years the river crests over 27 feet, and the water is just everywhere. The record high was 47 feet cresting in 1986, and it went all the way up to the bottom of the hotel there. And during those days, students, the smart asses we are, would kayak to class. But yeah, and then Dow's headquarters, their parking lot starts right here, so you don't really want to go south of the water, otherwise you might grow a leg. But or start glowing at night.
Which lake does that drain into? Which is
this water system is here. That the Lake Tittabawassee will go and drain into the bay, the Saginaw Bay, that goes into Lake Huron. So yeah, so in California, you guys learn a lot about California history and all the different settlements that were here, and the missions that were set up. We learn about lakes. That's the best thing Michigan's got going for us. Sault Ste. Marie's the old settlement. Lake Detroit, or the Detroit Point, has had 5 different languages. It was owned by the French, and then it was the English, and then the Spanish were in for a little bit. The Germans were in there for a year, not sure why, and then the French and then the Americans took over again. And that's about the most exciting thing in Michigan. And then we have 5 lakes. Horses. Was the Holmes. Holmes is the acronym. Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior. Wow, we have to learn that. I have no idea. And then here's the part that everyone's kind of interested in. But before I get to that, it was kind of cool. I was thinking about this on the way over. I didn't include this in my slides, but I've kind of worked in a lot of industries. So starting off, I've worked in education. When I was at the university, I also had a startup incubation education center. So it was, you want to have your own company, whether you're a student or a community member. What exactly do we need to get that off the ground? What sort of funding do we need? What sort of organizations do we need? What sort of partnerships? What do you need in place for for structure, what policies do you need, how do you look for people, what talent do you think you need, what talent do you actually need, which is actually one of the biggest issues with startups, is that somebody goes, oh, okay, I need somebody that's good with money. Well, I could probably YouTube it, or I've got a friend that knows Excel really well. But it's the idea of there's doing something mediocre and doing something even halfway good is better than that, which can get you off the ground. So it was teaching those skills, building those structures in. Before I was at Rivian and after graduation, I worked up to be a junior director of marketing at a steel distribution center. So I've done manufacturing, and I've done steel work and marketing. I've done the video stuff. I've had the restaurant. I worked for a year and a half as an airport manager at a small community airport outside of Detroit. It's all sorts of fun stuff. And then about almost a year and a half ago, I got a call from somebody at Rivian. And he said, hey, you're from the Detroit area. You like cars? You see you have the experience with startup marketing. How would you like to join our startup car company? And so I said, oh, I'll think about it. And they said, okay, we'll give you 2 days. I'll call you on Saturday. I'm like, okay, fine. That's not a whole lot of time to think about it, but sure. And so long story short, I accepted a job at Rivian and built all of our internal structures, our internal websites. Did a little bit of IT stuff. I did a little bit of finance. I was on the marketing team, and now, as before, we were still in a very stealth mode in that we're not really releasing a lot of information until it is appropriate to do so, just because once you start releasing information, you have to continue releasing information. And right now we're so focused on the design of our vehicle that we don't want to get in the way of having to release, oh, this is this vehicle, this is this vehicle, this is this vehicle, and then saying, okay, it looked like this last week, and now this week we changed it a little bit and it's looking like this, and we don't want to confuse everybody, which is part of the reason that we're staying stealth. But there's a few things I can share with you today. In the beginning of this year, which is really exciting, we purchased a manufacturing facility in Normal, Illinois. It was formerly a Mitsubishi factory. It is 2.5 million square feet.
Wow.
To give you an idea of how large that is, this building itself covers 55 acres of land.
Huge.
We can, on this side, actually right in this door here, raw materials can come in, plastic pellets that then would be melted and molded into seat backs, into dash panels, things like that. And on this side here, sheet metal comes in. Huge stamping dies, and the line runs through the facility. And out this side, you can drive a car off.
So it's running, so it's operating?
So we're working on getting it operational. So it closed its doors. Mitsubishi stopped producing cars in May of 2016. Our goal was to have it up and at least all the machinery running by this year, to have a crew of about 100 people there, just keeping it working, to keep the town back and employed. We are just probably about a few months behind that. By July, we should have the numbers we were expecting. Which is really great for us because it's kind of giving a rebirth to that town, a town that was centralized around. At a top point, they employed almost 4,000 people in this facility.
Wow.
And we won't be able to get to that anytime soon because they are producing about 300,000 vehicles a year. But we definitely hope to contribute and start opening facilities and turning switches back on in the area.
Now, is that using do they have frames come in, or are the frames already manufactured someplace else? Or do you manufacture frames there?
There is a small frame manufacturing section right here. However, it's not large enough to run the entire line, so my assumption is that it's for repairing maybe some that were damaged. But with the way it's set up, we could definitely move some things around, because with an electric vehicle, you don't need as much piece construction.
Are you using all the Mitsubishi machinery and production lines inside?
Not all of it. So as I mentioned before, this was fully set for the Mitsubishi Outlander and the Mitsubishi Evoque, to where they actually left some pieces over. We could probably have made like 50 more if we wanted to. But right now it's a matter of getting everything up and operational, figuring out what exactly is each tool's capability, and what we need, whether we need it or not, to produce our vehicle. And then it's a matter of going through and removing things off the line and holding them at auction, and then buying what equipment we do need to bring in, and then and then moving.
What's the audience of this? Is it like a Tesla high-end thing, or is it more normal
It's,
people?
our goal is for normal people.
Sorry, Dave.
We're on the,
You're overqualified. Dave's overqualified. You're overqualified.
but you know, we're still working on each of those final details. We don't have a designated price set right now. Right now, it's a matter of figuring out how do we manufacture the batteries and stuff. We thought we were close, and now we're kind of taking a step back and realize that there's a much better way it can be done. Yes.
How are you getting funded?
So we are actually in a very steady financial position. We have a series of corporate and generous financiers to where we actually pay cash for this facility.
Wow.
So we're in a good position there.
So would you call you mentioned it was a startup, that seemed like an awfully big startup. So you really got some great financing behind it. So
Right.
you're not really venture capital.
We're not right.
You're kind of like an angel, or how would you characterize it?
Magically.
I mean, to just buy a plant that big?
Yeah.
A couple days ago, I went by the Tesla plant, you know, it's been there, but that cost them an incredible fortune. But I bet that town, or the state of Illinois, really helped you guys get that thing going back to life.
Not necessarily. So this is about one between a third and a fourth the size, 1/3, 1/4 of the NUMI plant.
Oh, is that all it is?
Yeah, the NUMI plant is
5 million? I thought it was only 5 million.
5 million square
Yeah.
feet. So it
And
might
this
be
was
like a
two.
little half, so it's 2.5. So, yeah.
Last time I checked.
You have the high-end Tesla that was mentioned, you then have their lower end that will come out sometime in the future, but you now have the Bolt out there.
Right.
EV already. Where are you gonna fall within that spectrum?
That sounds about right. Yeah, somewhere on the spectrum.
Yeah. Were you in the CIA? Because you're pretty good at secrets.
I want to do 100,000.
Possibly,
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to know.
Anywhere around there.
Whatever you want to do.
You name your own price.
Yeah.
Or your price.
What will you pay?
One thing I can tell you is that our vehicles will fit inside this shipping container. That's about all we're going to see of them right now. But this is a good portion of our team that we have in Michigan. We're in a warehouse style out there that we actually are on. That's a TV of my office here in San Mateo. And so we really do a fun way of staying connected. This is inside of our facility in Normal. It's massive. It takes like 8 minutes to take a golf cart ride from one side to the other.
So why are you in San Mateo?
So we moved out to San Mateo to focus on the software side, the software and tech. With Tesla kind of being the first in the battery, there are a lot of battery technicians, a lot of startup battery companies out here that we can learn from, that we can use opportunities to help grow people in their careers by bringing them to Rivian in the area, as well as, like I mentioned, all the software and things like that we don't have in Michigan. In Michigan, people know really well how to build and design vehicles. And we were looking at everything and we realized that we weren't as strong as we would like to be on the technological side, which is why we're in the Bay Area. Yes?
Is this going to be one that you drive yourself or self-driving?
So right now,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
yes, it is. Right now, there's the advancement in technology for self-driving isn't where everyone thinks maybe it is, and I can give another presentation on that another time if you'd like, but there are 5 levels to self-driving vehicles. The first is basic vehicle control with no external understanding, which would be, I'm going to put my car on cruise control. Okay, that is a self-driving feature of a vehicle. But the vehicle doesn't know where it's going, what's in front of it, how fast everything else is going up. The second level would be adaptive cruise control, which is Volvo is really the first one to do it, to where they go, oh, there's something in front of me, I'm going to match my speed to what's in front of it. Level 3 would be, okay, I'm going to match my speed with what's in front of it, and I'm also going to know where I'm driving. I'm going to be able to follow the road. Level 4 is, I can do this by myself, I don't need any human intervention. Level 5 is me saying, I need a car to meet me outside in the parking lot in 13 minutes. And the car will show up there, and I get inside the car and I say, I need to go to my office at 1200 Park Place. And it'll take me there, no intervention, no really requesting. Right now, Tesla and their systems are very solid at a 2. So we have a long way to go before the idea of fully self-driving. And right now the biggest hindrance to self-driving vehicles is a human driver. Because here's why. Because when you look at computer programming, everything either is or it isn't. Right? And when a human driver, there's, well, I might be able to do this. You know, there's this little stretch. And that's where the biggest issues come in. You know, oh, I might be able to go a little faster. Oh, I might be able to stop in time. Oh, I might be able to squeeze between that building and that tree.
Even if there's no road there.
Even if there's no road there. And so that's what we're having the most difficult time kind of, or the entire industry is trying to figure out how do we program these vehicles to account for those sort of things. How do they, what's the answer to the unexpected? And vehicles are written in ones and zeros to obey the law, right? There's no kind of crossing over the yellow line. There's no maybe going over the speed limit. The speed limit is set at 65. Anything above 65, you're a criminal. The way the car thinks, you know, but
I'm appealing that.
But according to the rules of the road, you know, they request you don't go above 65 miles an hour. So, like Google had this problem a few years ago when they had their pods, to where they said, okay, look, here's 65, but you're actually going to drive, 67 because it's safer at that speed, because nobody actually drives at speed. Well, unless you're in traffic and then you're going 5 miles an hour. But so there's a lot of different variables that are working to be developed into all this. So, yeah.
Okay, this fifth level of a car that does everything. And you tell it, okay, instead of driving 65, drive 68?
No.
Then drives you to the jail.
because so when we get to a self-driving vehicle at that point, allegedly all of them would be that. So we could potentially, if they're all talking to each other, running the same program, travel at 150 miles an hour. It wouldn't be an issue because they're reading the signs, they're reading the programs. Vehicles can see and process things a lot faster. Like when I was in Las Vegas and I was driving these Corvettes, right? When you get to like 180 miles an hour, it's really hard to like see down the road because as soon as you see it, you're there. So
you think the speed limit might change?
potentially. Because you have radar, you have sonar. I mean, you look at how fast these drones and other airplanes that General Dynamics builds for the military are. And they can fly 500 miles an hour and not have an issue. If our roads didn't have potholes as large, we could potentially drive that. But I see I'm about to get beat by the paddle, so I think that's about stopping. Hopefully that's all I had.
Come back and keep going.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna explain this photo here, and then...
What, this photo?
Yes. This photo, or photos. Which
So this was when I graduated with my master's degree last year, and then this was at a friend's wedding a year and a half ago, and then that's my girlfriend Maureen and I at a symphony opening. So yeah.
Does she get to travel out here to visit?
She does occasionally. She's working with an ad team in Detroit, and so she also has 2 phones. So we don't really get a whole lot of time away from our offices. She tried to come out here, and the way that they do their contracts, it's per client set, so they're about 10 months at a time. And it was looking like she'd be able to be out here in August. However, they just signed her on a new thing with Ford, so she'll be another 10 months out there starting. So,
that sucks.
we're getting in our frequent flyer miles. So, but
Thank you, Nick.
yeah.